Hello, my name is Maria Joliker, and I'm here with my guest, Norwich's historian, Dale Plummer. So thank you for joining me today, Dale.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a few questions regarding what Walktober walks you have coming up. And the first is you have Bean Hill and the significance in Norwich history.
Yes, I'm going to do two walks. I'm trying to do two of each walk so that people who can't make one hopefully could make the other. And those walks will be on Bean Hill, starting at the Bean Hill Green on
Where is that Bean Hill Green?
Bean Hill Green is, you know where the bowling alley is? If you just head up that hill, there's a little green at the top of the hill. That's the Bean Hill Green.
Okay.
So Bean Hill was an early part of the settlement of Norwich. It was kind of on the west side of Norwich.
That's across the street from the bowling alley.
It's across the street and up the hill.
Okay.
Exactly. So we'll do a tour of Bean Hill on October 18th at 3 p.m., starting at the Green, and then again repeated on the 26th at 2 p.m., starting at the Green. And I'm calling it the No King Tour because Bean Hill was an early center of activity for the American Revolution. Mm-hmm. John Durkee, the bold Bean Hiller, was a leader in the Sons of Liberty that got the stamp collector to resign in 1765, Jared Ingersoll, and then he fought in the American Revolution as well. Very important figure. And Dane Rue has recently written a biography of John Durkee.
Who?
Dane Rue, the head of
Dane Rue, okay.
The Slater Museum.
Yeah.
So I think that will be worthwhile.
Okay. And what is the date of that?
It's two dates, the 18th of October and the 26th of October.
Okay. Okay, and then we have here, let's see. Okay, arrest of Elizabeth Glendower Evans in downtown Norwich in 1920 for speaking on freedom of speech in defiance of the mayor of Norwich. Carly Turner Eder will portray Mrs. Evans. What's the date of that one?
Okay, that will be again twice. The first time on October 4th at 11 a.m., starting at the City Hall, and the second time on October 11th at 2 p.m., starting at City Hall. Mrs. Evans was an officer in the American Civil Liberties Union, which was a pretty new organization. It had gotten started during World War I, but changed its name to ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union. And they were very concerned about the denial of freedom of speech to people in the country, and they decided to support freedom of speech by sending out speakers to various cities where people had expressed concern. So the mayor of Norwich at the time said, if she comes here and tries to speak, I'll have her arrested. And he was good to his word. But I thought, obviously freedom of speech is still something that we're talking about and that we're concerned about. Just as, the question on Bean Hill of, freedom from the king and so forth. So we're really talking about freedom.
Yeah, but when it comes to slander, it might not.
Well,
might not
that's
go over too
another.
good.
Where's the division? That's one of
Yeah.
the questions, of course. But
Yeah. So, but freedom of speech, that's when it goes into, matters of the against the law, saying certain things about people like slander.
well, no,
That could be that's another.
we know what she said, and
Yeah,
it was certainly
yeah,
it was not slander. She was simply trying to uphold the Bill of Rights and the guarantee of freedom of speech
right.
in the
Yeah, I
Constitution.
understand that.
But
It wasn't rumors or gossip or slander or things like that. That could.
no, she got up to speak. She was in a car, actually. She stood up in the car to speak, and the mayor ordered her arrest. And then she spoke later.
Mm-hmm.
She was released, and she spoke in a private hall, not on the street.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. And Carly Turner Eder.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, she is.
October is a beautiful time of the year. I love October.
She's a former role player at Mystic Seaport and
Wow,
an
that should
actor.
be really interesting.
So it should be good. Very good.
All right, and this one, I went to this one a couple, maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe longer ago. A panel discussion of Daniel Dunflis Home, born in Scotland, raised in Greenville, one of the most celebrated physical mediums of the 1800s. If you have a chance, go to this one. I think that's going to be in November, about the medium.
November 8th.
Find
Yes.
a happy medium.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's worth going and listening to the speaker. He has some interesting facts and.
Well, in this case, it will be on November 8th, which is a Saturday night at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get the Park Church parlor. And it won't be a single speaker. It will be a panel of 5. I will be the moderator. Faye Ringel, who has written New England's Gothic literature, folklore, history and folklore of the supernatural in New England, will be one of the panelists. Doug Harlow, who's done a lot of research on Hume. Maureen Kennedy, who is actually related to the Hume family.
Maureen Kennedy?
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Waterford, I believe.
Okay, all right.
Because, the family is still around the area. And Michael Bialowa, who is from the Waterbury area and has written a book about the haunted Naugatuck Valley. So it should be interesting. I don't think we're going to resolve any questions. Was he a fake? Was he not? He's certainly an interesting person, and his abilities, whether they were fake or not, but his abilities manifested themselves when he was a teenager living in Greenville. Supposedly the furniture he was staying with his aunt and uncle. The furniture would start moving, without anyone being present. He was supposed to.
What's the date of that one?
November 8th.
November 8th.
And I still have a couple of more in October.
Okay.
October 5th at noon, starting at Park Congregational Church, we'll do a tour of the area around Lincoln Avenue and so forth. And then we'll repeat that a week later on the 12th because the folks who lived on Lincoln Avenue were really impacted by the war. 2 men from one house on Lincoln Avenue actually died in the war. So the heavy hand of war was felt pretty badly.
Which war was that?
What?
Which war was that?
World War I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had about 64 Norwich residents that died in
64
that died in World
Civil
War I.
War soldiers?
No, World War I.
I mean, World War I soldiers that
Yeah.
died
Yeah.
from Norwich?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, more than, and it was not,
61?
we were only in there for about a year and a half. Well, some of them died of disease,
Okay.
but some were
Yeah.
killed in combat, others in accidents,
Yeah.
and so forth. And then I'll do a tour of Yantic on the 25th of October, starting at noon at the Grace Episcopal Church. And Yantic, as you know, is a
Yeah.
wonderful little mill town. The mill is now being done over as a hotel,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
things are happening there.
Yeah. Okay, I have, I'm going to change the subject just a little bit.
Sure.
This is about the American Revolution. I'd like to know, do you happen to know about how many African Americans served in the American Revolution for the side of the colonists?
Well, the number that of black patriots is estimated at around 9,000.
Oh, wow.
And about 5,000 of those were actually involved in the fighting.
Wow.
So they made us.
Oh, here's a picture of Peter Salem shoots British Major Pitcairn at Bunker Hill.
Yep.
Yep. So approximately how many?
About 5,000 served in the
Wow,
war
yeah.
as troops, and
Yeah.
while it's a small number compared to the total number of people that fought in the war, the important thing is that they served much longer than their white counterparts. They averaged about 4.5 years of service, whereas white soldiers averaged around perhaps 6 months. And some of
6 months service.
well, a lot of them were farmers. They would return home.
Oh,
they
like
were in
the militia.
Right, the
They'd
militia.
come out when they were out of their homes when
Right.
they were being invaded by the British.
See, and blacks were not permitted to be in the militia for the most part. So
Okay.
blacks signed up for the Continental Army, and usually for the duration. So they served much longer. And of course, you know, they some of them were free blacks who signed up because they truly, you know, believed in the revolution. Others were enslaved blacks who took advantage of the offer of freedom if one fought. But you know, obviously the thing is, you had to survive the revolution to be free.
Yeah.
So,
and to get, you know, the land that was given to soldiers after the war.
well,
You had to live through the war in order to.
Well, that's true. I think they
get
were
the land.
most concerned with their freedom, but pensions were another thing that many survivors were concerned with and their families. About perhaps 400 African Americans served in the Revolution from Connecticut.
From Connecticut?
Right.
Okay.
And we know the names of about 21 Norwich men.
Really?
Yeah, I actually have a list of them. If
You do? Yeah, say the, yeah.
Cato Meade, Bristow Zeberi, and those are two that we just learned about fairly recently that we didn't have on the earlier list. Bacchus Fox, Eleazar Grotto.
Fox or Box?
Fox.
Fox. Okay.
Newport Hale, Bristow, Caesar, John, Kedar, Jupiter. Now those did not have last names. Micah, Ned, Phil, Pomp, probably short for Pompey, and Prince. Then you had Toby Pendle, Lebeus Coy, Ebo Raymond, and Caesar Stewart. There are probably others as well.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's just from Norwich.
Yeah. That's just from Norwich.
You know, and there were probably others as well. You know,
Yeah.
the records are not all that good.
Yeah.
And of course, blacks served in the both the state navies and the Continental Navy.
Oh, wow.
So,
Gee.
and very interesting, you know, a Continental warship was built here, the Confederacy, and the list of men who worked on building the Confederacy and rigging her includes a number of blacks and Native Americans. So they were participating not only in terms of the fighting, but also in you know, building ships and doing other things that helped the war
Yes,
effort.
serving.
Right.
Maybe not fighting,
Exactly.
but yeah, who served in the American Revolutionary War. Okay, I have a question that I want to ask you about American Indians who fought or served on the side of the American Revolution. But first, I'd like to read something about
Sure.
American Indians in the American Revolution. Okay, so in 1776, the Cayuga, Mohawk, Onondaga, and Seneca tribes sided with the British, while many Oneida and Tuscaroras supported the Americans. Like many colonial communities, the division allegiance of the tribes transformed the revolution into a civil war among the Six Nations. The Oneida referred to themselves, considered to be a significant turning point in the Revolutionary War. The Battle of Oriskany, fought on August 6, 1777, has been described as one of its bloodiest battles. Brigadier General Nicholas Herkimer assembled 800 militiamen supported by 60 Oneida allied warriors and caused the opponents to retreat. The Oneidas were the only Haudenosaunee nation to side with the Americas. And it is that famous battle that cemented their legacy as America's first allies. So the Oneida referred to themselves as Onondaga, people of the standing stone. According to the Oneida traditions, there was always a large red boulder near the main village in New York. So also, the Stockbridge Mohegans community in New York, in New England, along with the Oneida, Tuscarora, and other indigenous nations allied with the American colonists for independence from Britain. Many of the communities hoped that their military support would ensure recognition of their sovereignty and protection of their lands. So they really played a part in the American Revolutionary War.
Well, and I think our
The
local
American Indians.
Yes, our local tribes, of course, fought on the side of the the Patriot side, the Revolution, Pequots and Mohegans, I think Narragansetts as well in Rhode Island. But westwards, it was a different story, because one of the when the French and Indian War ended, the British proclaimed that a line along the Appalachians would divide the English colonies from the native tribes, and that west of that line, the land would belong to the natives. Very unpopular with the colonists, because they were already starting to push into territory claimed by or occupied by the native tribes. So, particularly in among the Six Nations and others, they saw the British as being more favorable to them than the Americans, who they perceived, and perhaps rightly actually, as being interested in grabbing off their lands. But there were other tribes that sided with the Americans. So it was a very complex thing, just as in the Civil War. You had the same kind of split. Some Native Americans, many, supported the Union, but others supported the Confederacy. So it was it was a difficult thing, just as with African Americans. The first Emancipation Proclamation was actually in 1775 by Lord Dunmore, the Royal Governor of Virginia, who said that any enslaved people that came to the British lines and sided with the British would be free. So about 20,000 African Americans joined the British. And one of the sticking points after the war was, what would happen to those people who had gone over to the British? We wanted them returned to slavery, and the British refused, and settled some of them outside of America. So there was the revolution was difficult and presented difficult choices for native peoples and enslaved Africans. Very difficult choices. And of course, there were many people who were of mixed race, who were part Native American, part African American, which makes it difficult sometimes to, tell numbers, quantify numbers, because someone might be of both groups.
There must have been mulatto whites also that were part African American and part white, don't you think?
Well, there were people of mixed race. Right.
I'd like to know, how many American Indians do you think did serve on the side of the American Revolution, the colonists?
I am not sure, and that's and the difficulty is that if you were an Oneida, say, or one of these other tribes, you wouldn't necessarily join the Continental Army or the state militia. You would be fighting, as a unit under your own leaders and so forth. So how do you know who was the numbers of people that were fighting?
Right.
But certainly probably
and
in
a lot
the
of
thousands.
the records were lost, weren't they? Well, the fascinating thing is that they talk about a lot of the records being lost, the Indians, American Indians, but we do have a woman, Darlene, who works at Foxwoods, that her ancestor, direct ancestor, she had proved through the National Daughters of the American Revolution, who was an American Indian. And, so there is proof out there.
Oh,
you
yes.
know.
Yeah.
It can be found. So,
Right. It's just a question of we probably, whatever numbers, and I'm sure it was in the thousands,
must have been, yeah.
whatever numbers you have are not necessarily complete. Just as, the estimate is 5,000 African American soldiers.
Yeah.
But we
Well,
don't
it said that
really.
the Mohegans from this area decided to stay friendly with the colonists, English colonists, because in battle they were losing in battle. So he decided, the chief of the Mohegan at the time decided to be friendly with the colonists.
Well, they were within the colony. They were not separate in many ways. They didn't have the issue that Indians on the western frontier did,
Yeah.
where they were in danger of having their land taken from them.
Yeah.
The Mohegans had their own lands that remained theirs until the mid 1800s. So they didn't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think our time is up.
Okay,
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me.
sure.
And I hope you enjoyed my show. Thank you.
Thank you.